Chapter 1, Part 1. Why study governmental and not-for-profit accounting? Governments and not-for-profit organizations hire accountants. They engage accountants to perform audits. And as citizens and donors, we wish to better understand how taxes and charitable contributions are used. Chapters 1 through 9 cover state and local government accounting, and chapters 10 through 12 cover private not-for-profit entities. Chapter 13 covers auditing tax and performance measures for both types of entities, governmental and not-for-profit. Differences. Additional differences in the governmental and not-for-profit environment. The role of the budget. Government budgets carry authority of law, and we will spend quite a bit of time in chapters 1, 3, 4, and 5 working with the budgets. How accounting must adapt to governmental and not-for-profit environmental differences. We still have assets, equal liabilities, but as we move to the residual, we have different terminology. We're used to for-profit entities having assets, equal liabilities, plus stockholders' equity, but now become comfortable when we get to that residual, assets equal liabilities plus. That will change as we move through all of these chapters, chapters 1 through 9 on governmental, 10 through 12 on not-for-profit. Budgetary compliance is important both in the governmental and not-for-profit. We have to look at when to recognize revenue when there is no exchange transaction. That comes into play with grants and with taxes and with donations. We must work with any restrictions on the use of certain resources, and we have to look at non-financial performance measures. Concept statements. You should have worked with concept statements with the FASB. But now as we look at GAAP, we're going to start to look at the GAAP of the governmental entities, the GASB, and we'll look at the GAAP, the financial for private not-for-profits, chapters 10 through 12. Concept statements guide the development of new standards. And here we have the FASB for the private that you've been working with in for-profit. And as I mentioned, we'll work with these in the private, not-for-profit entities. We work with the GASB for state and local governments. The federal government, the FASAB, we will not cover that part in this semester. Here we're working with the private, not-for-profits, so we see the FASB concept statement number 6. The objectives of not-for-profit financial reports. And notice how that emphasizes the donors, the grantors, banks, the lenders. These are the primary users. So as we get to that part of the semester, chapters 10 through 12, we'll see how we apply these differences. Now for the GASB, our chapters 1 through 9, state and local government. Concept statement 1. The citizens certainly have a right to know why resources are being raised and how they will be used and how they have been used. That's when we get into the comparison of the actual results with the budgeted results. Concept statement 2, still working with the GASB, state and local governments. the service efforts and accomplishments. Not everything is measured by a bottom line. Sometimes we have to look at how did a program affect the citizens, or how did it affect an area of the city or the county or the state. So we use financial and non-financial measures of performance. Concept statement 3. How do we report the results? And chapter 2 we will work with the financial statements for state and local governments. So how do the GASB's objectives differ from business objectives? For this chapter, we need to look at exercises 2, 3, 4, and 7, and solutions are provided in the Week 1 Blackboard area.